What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream. Once again, it's Victory Tuesday. We are back in this thing. Man, when Trevor fumbled that ball, I had a conniption, but I saw how much time was left, and I was like, you know what? I think they could. I think they'll be okay. They just got to stop Dallas. Dallas had looked unstoppable, but I'm starting to see why Dak Prescott is right outside of the elite group. I mean, he's right there at the door. He's sitting outside the door. He's like in the waiting room, in the lobby or something. He's waiting to be called in because the decision he made to throw that ball on third down, all you need the Jaguars to do is call the timeout. You make us use that timeout, you probably don't have enough time to go down the field. And then, questionable throws, especially on the earlier interception, and making decisions like, yeah, it is what it is. But, man, player of the game, Mr. Rayshawn Jenkins, 18 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick six. House call to win the game. Rayshawn Jenkins should be a Pro Bowler this year. But once again, I got my co-host with me, Mr. Reed. How you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I know you talking about them Jags and everybody in the city feeling good about them, and I think that's deserving of what their performance is. I say this: they've made me a believer. So
yeah,
nothing like seeing a football team here who went through all what they went through and playing meaningful games in December with a shot of making the playoffs. And I tweeted out today, I think this team right now, just based on right now, not based on anything, November, September, based on right now, they're playing better football than the Titans right now,
Yeah.
And then they got a quick turnaround, obviously, that's a tough game they're going to have to go up there to New York and have to play the Jets. I mean, in New Jersey, but I'll say this, man. I said this Sunday after the game. I'll say it again. I think they've turned the corner. I think that the Jaguars with Trevor Lawrence, I believe they're a little bit ahead of schedule. I know a lot of people say, well, they're 6-8. Okay, yeah, they are. But I think if you look back on the last 3 games, every game since the Detroit game, I mean, they offensively they making plays. Defensively, they doing enough to stay in games, even though they're giving up points early in the game. But they're doing what they need to do in the fourth quarter. There's still some holes in that defense. They need to get more pressure on the quarterback. Everybody knows that. But I think overall, man, when you look at their overall picture, I think they're playing good football, obviously. And they got a quarterback now. Bottom line is this guy's playing like a franchise quarterback that he is, playing with poise and doesn't seem like anything is standing his way of getting them in the end zone or having to make plays. And then, like I say, Rayshawn come up, the Jenkins come up, and I think that play probably go down as one of their best plays that I've had since the 2017 season, or even beyond that. I mean, clutch play, a pick, what do you call it, a walk-off in is a pick six. Yeah, they essentially clinched the game, and that's what you want. I mean, you look back in the Titans game, you look at a guy like Shaq Quarterman making that hit on, forcing the fumble on the Yulee Bulldozer, and they get that turnover, takeaway. And then you see another exceptional play here when they had to have it. Jenkins had it, to pick that ball off. It probably was a bad throw, obviously, by Dak Prescott, but that's winning football, man. Taking advantage of opportunities, getting back into the game. Because I ain't go on Twitter and say, oh yeah, they're not gonna be able to overcome this deficit. But now they got a quarterback. They got a quarterback who, if they down 2 touchdowns, they're not playing well in the first half. They got somebody who can get them back in the groove, so to speak. Get them in the groove, get them in position to win games, and that's what this franchise is needed. I mean, that's, to be honest, that's the difference between Kansas City and Indianapolis. Indianapolis done went through all these quarterbacks and can't find that guy, and that's in order to win in this league. And not, you can win in this league, but I'm talking about sustaining, which has been a problem with this franchise. Sustain winning, keeping it alive for seasons to come. And when you got a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who can make the plays, make the throws, make the things that need to happen to get this team in the end zone in the right situations, in the right point of the time of the game, fourth quarter comebacks, they got the guy. 17-point deficit.
Yeah. Hey, I saw this graphic. I don't know if you've seen this. This is ridiculous. Record facing 17-point deficit in Jaguars franchise history. They pulled out the old logo. They were 2-2 this season. Previous to this season, they were 1-112.
Yeah, that's so. How far that go back? 1-1.
95.
Back to the 95.
That's 95 to 2021.
So from the start of the franchise till this season, they were 1-112.
Yes, when facing the 17-point deficit.
That's the things that this franchise got. That stat alone, right there on that on that right side, tells you everything you need to know where this franchise, what the problem is. And just going 2-2 alone, first year for Doug Peterson, and to have that record at 2-2 when you went 1-112, which is what, like 0%.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, though, Brandon. That's what it is. It's a team that can overcome barriers, a team that's peaking at the right time. This team is peaking. They peaking at the right time. And they got a quarterback. I mean, I don't, I think you can win in spite of some holes you have on defense. I still think they got holes on defense, but, hey, you got a guy that can get you down the field and score. Not just get you down the field, get you down the field and score, make the plays you need to make to win the football game. And then I like Doug. I said this before. I like his play calling. I like how much he's helped develop this kid. I saw a video of Trevor during the week that they were playing the Cowboys, and just looking at just his mindset, how he talks, and go back a year ago when it's now it's all about football, as opposed to all that other garbage last year. This kid got confidence, man. And when he's got confidence, players believe in him. All he's got to do is carry the team. It's not a big thing for him or anything like that. And he looks relaxed. He's playing with composure. I mean, one of those plays where he just, it looked like he was about to run into a sack, and he still got the throw off. Plays like that. I mean, I think now, watching this kid, he's making plays over the last 3 weeks that, man, some of the best quarterbacks is not making. Even Tom Brady right now ain't making some of the plays that Trevor making right now. And that's what it takes. That's what it takes, man. When you got a franchise quarterback, you got some pieces around him. You got inspired football. You got a coach who knows what he's doing. And I wouldn't have thought 3 months ago that they could beat the Cowboys, can go on the road and beat the Titans. I would have never thought that. So, my hats off to them.
Been over by now.
I think they're on track. And it wouldn't shock me. They could, the way this parity is in this league, particularly in the NFC, it's conceivably you can make the playoffs with an 8-9 record. Even if they don't win the division, they still could have a shot at earning one of those wild card spots. So I think it's exciting for this franchise. I mean, I watched that video with those key players coming off the field, and hey, man, my hat's off to those guys. I know exactly what they went through a year ago. I know probably some of the things they went through this year. This football coach has had the ability, unlike any other one before him, that even when I think if you go to any other coach they've had other than Tom Coughlin, when you get beat the way they got beat against Detroit, and you can come back after that, when you gave up eight scoring drives out of 9, and this football coach can turn that around and get these guys to come back and play inspired football, that's a hell of a football coach. That's what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Lorenzo, what's going on, man? Lorenzo say Duval. Hey, they got a Dewey. Dewey was pumped up after the game.
Yeah, I know he says.
Always the motherfucking Jags. Always the fucking
Jags. Dewey was hyped, dog. Hey, they've been saying that. It was always the Jags.
Always the motherfucking Jags. Always the fucking Jags.
Yeah.
Hey, man, when you win games, hindsight can come back and bite you, and you know what? Hey, they deserve it. I'm not a big Dewey fan. I'll probably never be a Dewey fan, but I can't say nothing about him. I can't. Hey, guy go out there and make plays, and I see the kid. The kid ain't got a whole lot of speed. We know that, but I do see him out there on special teams. He's out there busting. He's hitting. And when he didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to play safety in this game, which was smart, probably. But I commend a guy who can overcome the odds which he's had, in his career. Come from a small school, and yeah, I say this for all those guys. They got something to. Hey, I might have to raise my hand. Hey, everybody who wrote them off. Then they got something to say back to us.
Yeah.
So I can't say nothing about it. I can't say nothing about Dewey, anything. Hey, it is what it is. I didn't think that.
Dewey got a fan.
I had no idea this team could beat the Cowboys even at home. That's a hell of a win they had to beat those guys, to come back from that deficit, 17 points down, and pull that game out the way they did. And you just look on the last 3 weeks of their stretch that they've been able to pull out victories, man. It's just I commend the coach. I know the defensive coordinator, they've been like he need to pack his bag, but I think he's done some good things over the last couple of weeks. So, it's gonna be tough for these guys to turn it around. I think Thursday night games probably the toughest on the schedule, no matter who you're playing. Everything is changed on the schedule. And, you got to turn it. You got to flip it around that quick, and then they got to take a road trip up to a Jet team that needs a victory just as bad as the Jags. But I believe they can pull it out, man. I say right now, and I wrote this on Twitter Sunday. I think I've been one of the harshest critics of this franchise for the 4 years I covered them, because they were bad. And I said they were bad. I said the GM didn't know what he was doing. I said these guys shouldn't have, invested in a first and a third to get two linebackers who play the same position. Some of the moves I thought they should have added more to put more talent around them, Trevor. But, man, when you look at the offense, they're getting the ball in the hands of the receivers. They're moving the chains. They're getting downfield. They're overcoming mistakes. They overcome 2 fumbles. That fumble, the strip sack or whatever you want to call it, where Trevor lost that ball, and they still were able to overcome that turnover and still pull out a victory. I can only say right now, man, I commend them. and hope they continue to win.
Yeah, Dewey got a fan here. Shout out to Nikki for watching. Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, I finally got the, yeah, we check out this post game, and man, these dudes, they were hyped.
It's only up. It's only up.
They deserve to be hyped. Even that guy.
It's all good. That's how we want it.
Hey, we're here.
All right, hey, we gotta get one. Hey, we gotta get one ready. 1, 2, 3. All right, listen, we said it before the game. The talk was over, right? But we talked last night about this being a 15-round heavyweight going toe-to-toe fight. We talked about playing for 4 quarters. We talked about being physical. We talked about all 3 phases making an impact, and all 3 phases made an impact today. Offense, defense, and special teams. No bigger, though, than walk. Hey, proud of every single one of you. Great job, man. Great job. Let's bring it up.
Just like you said, bro, quick turnaround. Hey, let's go. We got another big one Thursday, brothers. Hey, family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Man, that'll get you hyped. Yeah.
Football is an easy game, man. You know, I think some of the same messages that Doug Peterson has been saying, that any one of those coaches from Marone on down has been saying it. But when you got a football coach who can make players into believers, who got a football coach who's got he's got a hell of a football IQ, and he can push, look like this guy have pushed many of, can just look at that huddle and you can see that those players believe everything that's coming out of his mouth. And we 3 weeks before the regular season end, there ain't been no straying away. There ain't been nothing. And if you listen to his press conferences, he ain't scatter shooting or downplaying this, or we didn't, you know, he to me, he's just straight up. He's been straight up even when he first got hired here, and he's believable. And when you have a guy who took a team to a Super Bowl and has a track record for winning, it's very easy to get the locker room in your favor. And I think that's, hey, whoever made the hire, Shad Khan or whoever, I think this is the guy that they got finally who could get this franchise on track for the long term. I think he's the guy that they, you know, long missed and long awaited, finally got a coach who could turn this thing around. And who knows what this team can do next year. I know it's too, you know, we're talking about this year right now, but I see the building blocks of this franchise, man, that those bad days of the past, I don't think they're going to be returning in Jacksonville as long as he's here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I said that, we said that plenty of times, no matter what, you know, how you felt about Doug Peterson, even earlier in the season and his decision-making or whatnot, the guy can flat out coach. It's obvious.
Yep.
And the adjustments, man, because, it was 27-10, you know, and both adjusted. Doug adjusted, Mike Caldwell adjusted because Zeke, CeeDee Lamb was killing, which I wonder, I was like, why is Trey Herndon on CeeDee Lamb? I got an issue with that. I got to figure that out. I say, where is Darius Williams, who's been playing very well now that they put him on the outside? Where's Tyson Campbell? You got Trey Herndon, but they had CeeDee in the slot and Trey Herndon. You know, they knew what they were doing. You know, so let's see, Chris, what's going on? He said, watching this team evolve from the past and break that mentality this year has been an experience. It indeed has, because I believe too, it is a mentality. Yes, you can be talented. And the Jags, you know, over the last couple of years, you know, you could say we've had teams that weren't very talented. But I've seen teams that aren't very talented beat teams that are talented. Oh, and let's not forget, Mike McCarthy got out coached, especially in the second half. No question about it. Dan Quinn, who declined to interview here, who could have been the coach, he could have been in Doug Peterson's seat, let an offense put up 34 points and 500 yards of offense, even with 3 turnovers. So just imagine they didn't have those 3 turnovers. We probably wouldn't even be talking about a overtime win. We'd probably be talking about a comfortable win.
And one thing you touched on, though, man, you got to have players who believe. And I know everybody talk about talent is this and talent is that, but that locker room got to believe in the system. They got to believe that they can go out and win, and no matter who the opponent is, can go week to week and improve from the previous week and go out there and win. And that's why I think this guy, Doug Peterson, has really been, really important in how this team has escalated each week. The things, motivation is motivation, man. If you can find the motivation to motivate your team, it could be anything. I thought that what he did for the Titans game, he went back, got splice film of all the stuff that the Titans done said about the team. Not these, some of these guys ain't even been a part of that rivalry, but he let them know that this so-called rivalry has been one-sided, and they don't respect you. Titans don't respect you. And, you guys can either go out there and fight, or you can fold, or you can let Derrick Henry run over you and you be in every highlight reel for the rest of the season. Whatever buttons this guy pushing, he's pushing the right ones. I mean, there's no question about that. And like I said earlier, man, for a football coach to turn around a team after that performance they had in Detroit, that's hell of a coach. Because that doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
That usually means we ain't got nothing left to play for, which we wrote them off. Like I used to say 3 weeks ago, hey, man, from the radio station to the people in this town, we overhyping this team. They're not ready for that level yet. But seeing this team, like I say, I'm human, I'm wrong, and I admit when I'm wrong. But I see something in this team, but particularly in that Cowboy game when they're down and they're down by that many points, and that quarterback find a way to get them down the field, not one time, a couple of times, and get them in position to win games, and getting these wide receivers, from the Jones to the Christian Kirks to the Ingrams. I mean, I see something special with this group, and it's going to build, regardless of what happened this year, that I think they got the building blocks, that they done figured it out of what it takes to win in this league and win and beat the good teams. And I think that formula is what they have. And I just think they got to add, they got to get cornerbacks. There's no question on that. I know what you said about Herndon, but Herndon is a liability in most cases. They got to get either you're going to be a press coverage team or you're going to be a zone coverage team, but you got to get some guys who can cover one-on-one. They got to get some cornerbacks. There's no question about that. And maybe add a piece or two, and they got to retool the offensive line a little bit. But other than that, the building blocks is here. They got a team that can win. I to be honest, I'm impressed with the offensive line, man. I put that on my Twitter page. Hey. When I see guards pulling the way they got what's the guy they got from Washington? The Sheriff. See that guy, Sheriff pulling, knocking everybody down in sight, and having those guys roll out and pull. Yeah. Hey, man. They were out physical. I thought I didn't. I for a minute I had to catch myself, but they out physical the Cowboys.
Yeah, Walker Little come in off the bench cold in relief of Cam Robinson, and Cam is done for the year, so Walker Little will take over. But Walker drew DeMarcus Lawrence, and he only got beat on one play.
Yeah,
one. That was it. He was physical, man. And the team being physical is a little different, because no matter how good the Jags have been over the years, no matter how rough and tough we've been, even in the 2017 season, The Titans always come and show us that we ain't that guy. And they punch us right in the mouth. It's always happened.
Yep.
What happened last week, the week before last, punched the Titans in the mouth. So when I saw how physical they were against the Titans, I say, man, might have turned the corner. Come back. Physical once again against the Cowboys. That's what it was. In the second half, it looked like the Cowboys didn't want any. Yeah. This is what it looked like to me. And they didn't panic. There's no panic in Trevor. The team is going to be a reflection of Trevor. Trevor's like, he's like easy does it. It's like ice in this vein. He's like, okay, yeah, we down 17. It's just another day at the bank, and this is what I do. And him being, I told you that is the biggest thing that shocked me about him. Arm talent, yeah, he's talented, tall, statuesque, look like sunshine, got all of that. Championships in high school, championship in college, number 1 overall pick, got all of that. His poise and maturity is what sets him apart.
Oh, yeah. And I used to use this word all the time, undaunted. I mean, he's undaunted. I mean, he's like, I think whatever happened, it might have been the Houston game or whatever he threw in the end zone. I think from the point that he done made those early season mistakes, it lit a fuse in him.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you see, like, I see this kid on the field, and it's like every play got to matter. Every play has to matter. Every play we got to make something happen. And that's looked like to me, that's how much his mentality has changed, that we can make a big play. Whether it's first down, second down, or what. If we got a mistake, we're going to overcome it. We can overcome the mistake, And for a second-year quarterback to have that much poise, have his players believe it on the defense side of the ball too, and to have that belief, then go out and carry it out is something that you put in a bottle and you keep it and you sustain it. And I think that's where this football team at now. All they had to learn was how to win. Once they learn how to win, it's easy to sustain it. They just got to learn that, hey, you make a bad play, we got another shot. And like in that Dallas game, that's what they were doing. Hey, man, they just scored. We get the ball back again. And they showed a picture, like a photo that they showed a shot of him on the sideline. That's basically what he said. He looked at it and said, okay, we got the ball again. Let's go downfield.
Yeah.
Man, when you got that mentality, you can beat anybody. And I say this, the Titans got a lot to worry about.
They do. They got a lot to worry about. I say, Christina, appreciate you for watching. She said they're all talented. They're all NFL football players, but we have the coach now that can help them believe who all these individual people are. And when they come together as a team, it's going to be amazing. And we're watching that in real time. It's very, very good to see. Hey, Josh Allen must watch this show, dog. Josh Allen must watch the show, because it's been a different Josh Allen the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's played very, very well. Arden Key is really, and I think with Arden Key, I don't think it was, necessarily with him. I think it was the coaching staff, them knowing how to use him, when to use him, different situations. Because the Arden Key, those inside guards for Dallas, they were having a rough time with Arden Key, man.
Mm-hmm. He was too fast for him. But we need to repeat what he said about Ernesto. He's here, man. I mean,
Trevor's here.
You can say what you want to say about last year or early this year. This kid is here, and he's here for good. He ain't going anywhere anymore. This franchise got that guy who can, they talk about the Herberts and all these young throwers, the Mahomes and all these guys, the Josh Allen, the Buffaloes. Yeah. We got a guy that's, if you look at his stats, he right up there with those guys. And another good thing about it, this kid is just scratching the surface, to be honest. Yeah. Think about what he'll be in year 4 and year 5. And don't think for a minute that those teams in the South, in the AFC South, don't realize that they got a problem on their hand in that division, facing Trevor Lawrence twice in a season. Yeah, particularly the Titans. because they can't stop him. And they might try any blitz packages and all that. This kid is the one thing I noticed different about him now. He ain't just rolling out to get out of a pass rush or get out of a bad situation. He's getting the ball out of his hands quicker. He's reading the defenses better, and he's making the plays that you see the Mahomes making and those guys. He's making those this what the big boys make. He's making those kind of throws, and he's making the throws when they count, which is the fourth quarter, and to win games.
Yeah. Say next, I could not believe Dallas had the ball, ran it twice, then tried that awful pass by Dak that fell incomplete. That was a Dallas blunder. I'm still baffled by that, Ness. I'm like, when he threw that, I'm like, why would you throw a 40-yard pass to Noah Brown of all people? I mean, there's had to be a better option because all you needed to do, well, you didn't even need to get the first down. Just make Jaguars burn their timeout. And they did not do that. That was very baffling to me. But Trevor Lawrence since week 9, passer rating, number 1. Completion percentage, number 1. Touchdown to interception ratio, number 1. Enough said. That's why somebody's like, well, he may be a top 10 quarterback. I like Nick Rice say, no. He is top 10, and it ain't 10. Just believe that.
In the upper echelon. And the thing is, he's going to be there for a while, for a long time. What you see is what you get. And he done figured it out. And that's another thing. He done figured out the scheme. He done figured out the go with the check down throw. I mean, he done figured out to be poised. Don't force it if you don't need to force it. And the receivers done figured him out. They know how to run routes now that may not be scripted, but it's good enough to get open.
Yeah.
I think they figured it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't say enough about the head coach, man, because I think even from an offensive standpoint, there were some stretches in that game where ETN fumbled, Trevor fumbled, and got off to another slow start. And then they played undaunted.
Yeah.
Still fight to the finish.
Yeah.
And man, that's I used to say, boy, it's like, man, I can't even watch these guys on a full game. I have to watch the NFL red zone. But boy, the way these guys playing now, they on red zone more than any other team. Where they got so many scoring drives going on. There they go. They're back on the red zone. They flashed in on them again. Here's Trevor.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, and I remember we early this year we went to the Colts game and Rayshon Jenkins balled out in that game. I mean, absolutely balled out. He was everywhere. Two was hitting everything. And any pass was thrown, he was somewhere in the vicinity. He was playing out of his mind. I say, man, they're gonna have to PED test him after this game, dude. That's how well he's played. Because last year was like a throwaway year even for him. And I love Rich Eisen. I like watching Rich Eisen. Every chance Rich Eisen gets to take a jab at Urban Meyer, he does. And he said that, he said, I hope the Jaguars continue to play well. I hope Trevor Lawrence continues to elevate because it shows you how incompetent Urban Meyer was.
Oh, yeah.
But Rayshon, man, this dude was all over the field. But this call right here, we got to see it one time. I hope I don't get a copyright strike, but hey, it is what it is.
Cowboys are 9 out of 15 on third down. This is a 3rd and 3 from their 47. Trips to the right. Elliott now the running back in place of Pollard. Shotgun for Prescott. He drops to throw. Looking, fires middle of the field, and that ball is picked off. It is picked off by Rayshon Jenkins. He's running it back along the right sideline. That is going to be a touchdown. The Jags are going to win it on a Rayshon Jenkins pick six. Are you kidding me? How good is that? What a play.
Dak Prescott throws this ball. It gets tipped.
Alul Khan with this block.
In the hands of Rayshon Jenkins, and he takes it to the house. Wow.
What a finish to this ball game. America's team came
to the first coast, but this one belongs to Duval.
Man. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence breakout game, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Brandon? It's good to see. It's good to see it. It's good to see these guys knock off the Cowboys. It's good to see that. I think, regardless of what happened for these next 3 games, I think America recognized that as long as Trevor throwing the passes in Jacksonville, that it might be must-see TV. I think these guys start next year. You're going to see more. I think they may get a Sunday night game, may even get a Monday night game. But when you knock off the big boys and you got a quarterback that, as you say, I heard some sports talk radio and Trevor been talked about the whole week since Sunday. I know we only Tuesday night, but that's the kind of things happen, man, when you get when the nation start figuring things out. And become the conscious of the league that, man, this young team, boy, they hungry, they want to win, they winning game, they knocking off the Cowboys. And man, that puts this franchise on the map, man. And we'll see bigger games and we'll see more national televised games.
Yeah.
That can only help Jacksonville and definitely helps the franchise.
Speaking of national televised games, we're gonna hold that thought. Speaking of national televised games, the Titans game now is to be determined right now because it's up for eligible to be flexed. So if we go into week 18 and that game is going to decide the division, that's going to be your Sunday night game.
Oh yeah, no,
already. You see, Ness say Doug is the man that knows how to design plays to get guys open. Wow, we have the right combination. Man, it's like peanut butter and jelly, Ness. Dale Brown say, hey, how you like that? After boys told y'all last week they still weren't winning the Jags. Yeah, you called it, Dale. Dale was confident. You called it. Hey, but I picked them to win too. Hey, at one point it was 31-27, and my score was 31-24 Jags. And I was like, well, if this score hold, I'm close. Let's see. Let's say I love it. Duval is a question. So the Luacan block in the Dak in the back. Now when I looked at it again, because I thought initially it was, but if you look at it, he coming at him like almost kind of like from the side. It's just enough. He get enough of Dak's shoulder to make it go from the side instead of him hitting him right in the back.
Speaking of a Luacan, boy, they got a football player. That guy. Yeah. Whatever it takes to re-sign. I don't think they got to worry about that next season, upcoming season. That guy's a football player, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He said, no, he didn't. He called him from Ness. He called him from the side, and Dak tried to turn and make the play. I saw that also. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. He said, Nick said, these guys tore my head off today saying we got away with the no call, and there were Jags fans. I felt Dak turned his back to avoid the collision coming. But I was like, hey, what do I know? I'm just a lady who loves football. Hey, and you tell him, Nikki, go back and watch the tape of Dallas holding majority of the game. I'm talking about holding. At one point, I saw the Dallas left tackle had the DN in the headlock like this. I saw it. And they didn't call it. They missed a lot of calls on Dallas. I saw it. That's why I don't complain. It is what it is because they usually do makeup calls. But Dallas was very grabby Sunday.
Yeah. I saw that play you're talking about. He did it on 91.
Yes. Yeah. He did on DeJuan Smooth. I'm talking about he had him like this.
Yeah. And didn't let go. Once he he was coming on the rush and he kept that arm around his neck.
Yeah. Let's say Luacan is tackling machine. Yes, he is.
Yeah, man. He's good, man. I'm almost shocked at the Falcons. I don't know what the Falcons think to let that guy go.
They probably couldn't pay him. Yeah, they probably couldn't pay him because they have Matt Ryan it's a lot of dead cap that he's still taking up. So they probably couldn't pay him. They had to make some decisions on who to pay. But they kept Deion Jones. I would have got him up out of there because he's gone already now. So if I had to choose between the two, I would have took a little con over Deion Jones. So that was really that was interesting to me. He said I think Cole sits on the toilet somehow makes a tackle. Yeah. Yeah, but
he just knocked over everybody in his way to make the tackle, to even his own teammates.
yeah, he coming with bad intentions, dog. Every single time.
Indeed, boy. He
Every
played
single
that
time. And then also career year for Zay Jones already. After I think before the Titans game, he had already passed all of his career numbers. Career year for Zay Jones. Christian Kirk is on his way to a career year. Evan Ingram is on his way to a career year. I mean, that's Trevor Lawrence all day long. That's Trevor Lawrence. And so guys are going to see that. I told you, other receivers, tight ends, backs, they're going to see that. They're going to see who gets the numbers. They're going to see who what system can give them the ball, what quarterback can give them the ball. And they in all season, all of a sudden, man, you got all these guys who want to come here, who want to play for Trevor. Shoot, Micah Parsons talked about it. Micah Parsons has a great respect for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, so, but man, I think we're gonna leave it right there. You say Lloyd really needs to just mimic Aluakon. There's his teacher. Yeah, I think Lloyd will be fine. He has some more to work on. Chad Muma, of course, should start Thursday night. Put him back in the lineup because Devin wasn't terrible, but he's not playing up to the level that you would want him to play.
He's thinking too much. He's trying to make plays and thinking about them before he make them. And Chad Muma got to get off blocks a little better. I thought, I believe the first touchdown they scored with when Dallas scored on the run play with the he got blocked out of that play. So he got to get off the block. He got to shoot the rip a little bit more. And Lord got to stop thinking. I think he's thinking too much. He's thinking on how to make a play and just be reactionary and just do what you got to do, man. Which, I question a little bit, man, about benching him. That might have a long-term effect on him. But, hey, man, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing because it's some of the plays that Lloyd has given up, and you like, man, you don't want him to lose confidence either. So it's almost a catch-22. You could bench him, you lose confidence, but if he continue to not make the plays and hurt his teammates, that can affect his confidence as well. So,
and some people question. Okay, I mean, I think he made a smart decision. It looked bad during the game when he let up. He could have tackled Dak, I believe, and he let up because he thought he had already threw the pass.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to take him to the ground, but stuff like that. I mean, I just think he's overcompensating. He's worrying about getting the hook, and that's one thing when you bench a guy who's a first round pick, and he's got all these expectations, and all the expectation if you bench him is that he's not making enough plays. That's the reason you bench him. And then he's not playing reactionary football. He's trying to think to make plays. And I think that and some things he got to work on. He got to work on his footwork. He got to work on getting in position. Yeah. And another thing, man, I've heard the debate on this. Why do they have Josh Allen going 20 yards downfield?
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up.
To cover somebody when he's supposed to be coming off the edge and putting pressure on the quarterback. I don't like to see him in no isolated one-on-one coverage.
No, with nobody.
Downfield.
No, with nobody. I don't care if there was a O lineman eligible as a receiver. I don't want Josh Allen covering him. I want his hand in the ground, playing the run on the way to the quarterback. That's what I want him doing. When I saw that touchdown, I said, any call that has Josh Allen covering the tight end is trash. Period.
20 yards down.
Go throw it out.
In isolated coverage, like, man. And those are the things they got to work out. I mean, I think they're work in progress when they come to that. And I think they trying to let him be. I think they trying to work with his confidence. And then, can he make a play in coverage, and let's take some of the pressure off him as an edge rusher to get to the quarterback. But he actually had probably one of the best games of the season against the Cowboys, but that wasn't one of his best plays.
Right. No, it was not one of his best plays. He said, yes, Uncle John, he is overthrowing the game instead of his instinct. Yes, Allen has no business covering anybody. Yes, trash B. Yeah, it's yeah, Dale say Allen has no business outside of the flats. Yeah, in the zone. I mean, right. He's 6'5", 265 pounds. He shouldn't be downfield covering nothing.
And that's what they got to work on. They got to work on zone. You know, you can play zone and man at the same time. But and I agree with him. There's no way in the world he should be dropping back beyond the flat, which is like he shouldn't be covering anything beyond 10 yards at that much. Yeah, I wouldn't even give it 10 yards. Yeah. Anything in a flare in his area on a swing, the screen pass or something like that, then yeah. But have him drop back 10 yards, 20 yards. That's almost like you got your 7'6" center and he's shooting 40% of his shots behind the 3-point line. He's not meant to do that.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's not. So, but man, we're gonna probably leave it right there. No, we're not. We got to preview Thursday night because we definitely got to preview Thursday night. So Mike White is officially ruled out. Zach Wilson is going to play. I like that news because Mike White can play. Now, Zach Wilson, hey, I'm not going to sleep on him because I'm sure he has motivation to go out and ball out and play, and he don't want to relinquish that job back to Mike White when Mike White comes back. They are a very well-coached team. They're being coached by a guy who I wanted here in Jacksonville before they hired Urban Meyer. He was on my short list of candidates that I wanted. It was Byron, Eric Bieniemy, and Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh is an excellent coach. You could tell with the Jets. They got defenses coached excellently. I see what James Robinson is like the fourth running back. I wonder what's going on in New York, man. I don't know. I kind of feel for the kid, man. But, you know, hey, it is what it is. But this is not going to be a cakewalk because, like you said, it don't matter if they were playing a cupcake Thursday. They could have been playing Rains High School Thursday. It's going to be a tough time trying to turn around on a short week after an emotional win against the Cowboys because you saw they came out. You have an emotional win against the Ravens, and you go to Detroit and you lay an egg. They were flat. They were flat the whole game and couldn't recover. And the same thing could happen Thursday night. They have to be up for this game. It's going to be very tough. But I like them. I like them Thursday night. I like them to beat the Jets Thursday night. I think Trevor Lawrence, once again, is going to shine.
And this is what you need. That Thursday night, the nation will be watching, even though it's on Prime. But I think this is a game where it's going to be the showcase. It's going to be the quarterback. And the Jaguars, you know, I know what you're saying about James Robinson, but, you know, I always get a feeling that the guy that you least suspect sometimes always come around and find a way to have a big game against you. And we don't want James Robinson to have a breakout game against his old team. But, you know, who knows? The Jets might be using this as motivation. And, I mean, he's fourth string, but he might get 30 carries on Thursday night, you know. But I think this team is on they know what's at stake. They know when they don't put all the marbles in the bag and how bad they can play. I think they're riding the momentum of the win streak. I think the Jets is going to be difficult. I agree with you with that. They do a great job with their secondary, with the rookie Sauce Garner.
Sauce Gardner. Hey, he was mad that Tariq Woolen was beating him in Pro Bowl votes, and he was like, "Man, it's like that." He's like, "I thought y'all loved me, New York." He ended up when I guess the voting closed for the fans, and he ended up being number one. So I guess he got what he wanted. Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be a good matchup. I think the Jazz can win this game. I think that you know, whatever Doug Peterson is going to have in the motivation bag, I think he's going to have that out there. You know, they got that. Surely the 24-hour rule is done. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, close battle. But I like this Jags team, man. I'm the kind of pessimistic guy who's seen so much with this Okay, you can't believe in them week to week. But I think there's something different about this group, man. I think they found out what the secret is. And if you look at all the streaks I saw somebody report all the streaks they done broke. They finally beat a team in the NFC. They finally beat the Titans since 2013 on the road, and all these streaks that they've broken. And I know that, Thursday night. The last time I remember Thursday night is when they played Cincinnati last year. And I know that ain't happening again. So I like Doug Peterson. I like what this team is fighting and clawing. And I like the fact that you play your best football in December. And these guys are peaking at the right time. The Jets, they done had some issues. Obviously the number one issue is the quarterback position. And I'm not a believer in Zach Wilson. I just think that I wasn't a believer in him when he was drafted. And I think he can put some pressure on him, force him to make bad throws, and he can take him mentally out of his game from a mental standpoint. If you get a good rush on him, hit him hard, you can take him out of the game. But he does run out of the pocket well. But I think the Jags are on a roll, man. I think the Jags understand if we win out, we can make it to the playoffs for the first time since 2017. And if there's any team that need to get back to the playoffs, get their fans on the bandwagon, and get this ship turned around after all what they done went through, I think they motivated by that. And I actually think they could pull it out. I think they're going to give Houston a good beat down whipping.
Yeah, it's long overdue. Even though Houston has played a lot of teams tough, they just have been coming up short because they're 1-11 team. This is what they are. I don't think that game is going to be close. I don't. For some reason, I don't think that game is going to be close. I think the Jets game is going to be close. A close game. It's going to be a hard fought game. But the Texas game, I'll be very surprised they lose that game. I'll be very surprised that game is close in the fourth quarter. I won't rule nothing out, but I'll be very, very surprised.
They play in Houston, so I think they're going to Houston to get payback. And then they get ready to play the Titans and finish out strong. I think they could win these 3 games, man. I don't know about you. I think they could close the season winning all 3. And wouldn't it be something that this team make the playoffs? I mean, it'd be something to win the division, but boy, it'll be one hell of a turnaround for a team that had 2 consecutive years with the number 1 pick, first year coach in Jacksonville, and they turn it around after a disaster this season and make it in the playoffs. I wouldn't even care what they did in the first round. Whatever happened in the first round, it'll just be gravy. But to see that team to make it in the playoffs would be one hell of a accomplishment, and I think we'll be talking Jaguar football until next season.
And
it can happen.
Yeah. Let me get some of these comments. They piling up and say, if really is what we hope, Jones Jr. is going, and we will be deadly with Kirk, Zay, and Ridley. Wow. Yeah. And that's another thing. You keep forgetting. I keep forgetting about Calvin Ridley coming next year. And Dale talk about, sending Josh Allen deep. That's like sending your D tackle to deep middle. I've seen it. I've seen it before. It's not a great strategy, but I have seen it before. Let's see. Devin Lloyd needs to be practicing those dummies and practice all day long, nonstop, until he hear the whistle from the coaches that hug and let go. That's how you doing the hug to a long lost friend. Yeah. And he's been flagged before, so he remembered that. See, mark my words, Jets are on the menu. I hear you, Dale. They say the Jets will be touching, has talent on offense and defense. Jags 23, Jets 17. That's calling it too. And misdirection all game long. Yeah, Dale, misdirection all day long. I think one of the things that tired out Dallas is when they start doing misdirection plays on offense. Agnew, man, I think they've unlocked Jamal Agnew. He got it. You have to get the ball in his hands. It doesn't matter how he gets the ball in his hands, but he has to get the ball in his hands. That dude has another gear, man. He has another gear. You see, I think we have the secondary to play man and Blitz Wilson. Yeah, we do. He said, I think the game has slowed down for Trevor Lawrence. Yes, it has. Play a safety over the top of Herndon. Yeah, so he's need help because they scheme up Herndon all day long. He said, man, look at what T-Law has done. One on the West Coast and how many tries in Tennessee and how many beat the NFC team and how many tries. Yeah, he's broke a lot of streaks. And then I because a lot of y'all weren't here earlier, but the Jaguars before this season, the Jaguars were 1-112 when facing a 17-point deficit. This season, they're 2-2. That's tell you all you need to know right there. That's it. And let's say, I'm with you, Uncle John. We're getting hot at the right time. Then let's catch fire. Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I see. Hey, these last three games, like you said, these are winnable games. All of them. These are winnable games.
Get that momentum, and I'm almost to say that the toughest part of the schedule is gone. I mean, you can beat Houston, you can beat the Jets, and you can beat the Titans. I think they're a better football team at the moment than the Titans. Titans is they're the toughest left on the schedule, but I think that I think they can go out and win. And Herndon,
Ness, come on, Ness.
Man,
Ness,
Herndon,
come on, Ness.
Boy, Herndon is a liability, but I like having a safety over the top to help him out. But I was saying, man, you can't put Herndon on number 88, man.
No, he was killing it, man. Let's say Herndon can't cover a dead body with a parachute. Lord have mercy.
I say hopefully next year Herndon will be off the schedule. I mean, off the roster, and they can get some real cover corner guys, regardless if they play in the nickel or on the outside. But they got to improve that position, no question.
Yeah. The holes are still glaring because you can see it during the games. You still need inside D-line help. You still need corners. You still need pass rush. You still need some work on the offensive line, probably some inside offensive linemen. So there's still work to be done. Hey, another explosive receiver would really, really help. And it's funny, Zay Jones got his man benched. I forgot the guy, who was covering Zay Jones. I think it was number 1. He got him benched. Yeah, because Zay was killing him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, so I agree with you on that, man. I think that those are the areas they need to address a little bit in the offseason. It's not like life and death addressing, but they got to upgrade a couple of positions. But the foundation is here, man. They're going to lose some guys. I mean, another thing I like about Doug and his coaching staff, and you have to be this in the NFL, if you're not producing, because we need to have an HPB on Shaq Griffin. Because I never knew he had a back injury, and then he's vanished. He's missing in action. And
I've been seeing him posting and at different events and stuff. And he, I don't expect him to be walking around double like an old man, but I was like, man, I don't know, man. He looked like he might be able to cover a route or two.
He ain't been on that football field, I think, since that whatever game it was.
No.
He ain't been on the field since then.
No. Yeah, I haven't seen him on the sidelines. That's interesting too.
Yeah, they probably told him he's gonna retire. Try again in free agency next year.
You say, wasn't Jenkins over the top of Herndon on his first pick? So I might have to double check that, or can you? I think he was over the top of Herndon because it was a bad throw, but I think he was over the top of Herndon on that throw, Dale. They say winning mindset equals winning culture. Absolutely. My Griffin is another one, dead man walking the mile.
Yeah, he'd be walking with a new uniform in a couple of months.
yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. So, man, we done did an hour on the Jags. I knew he was gonna do it. Everybody was into it. So these last couple topics we're gonna go through them pretty quickly so we can get out of here. He said that man got that money and came to Duval, got with the rapper, and that man is a groupie. Chris, I saw that. I forgot her name, but yeah, they out. You know, they doing a couple thing and stuff. They at events, and I say, man, he don't look like a football player right now, man. He look like a socialite. I said, that's Griffin. Yeah. I forgot her name. But yeah, she's a rapper from here. So yeah, pretty girl. But I was like, that was very interesting. I'm glad Chris brought that up because I saw that too, Chris. Yeah, Shaq Griffin looked like his Tokyo Jets. That's her name. Yeah, Tokyo Jets. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So man, but yeah, we're gonna leave it right there. You know, put a pin in that. We got a few more topics. We're gonna stay in the NFL right now, but we're gonna go pretty quickly through these. But this is one that was very interesting to me. This exchange between Giovani Bernard and the reporter. So let's listen to this.
Well, you were injured all year.
What have you done for us to talk to you about all year? I talked to you Tuesday. Don't say you're not talking because I didn't talk to you all year.
You were also injured most of the season too.
Hold on. Just relax.
Can I go to my family that I have outside? And
you
all
can.
Of a sudden now?
Just don't say we didn't talk to you all year.
We just wanted to ask for your perspective on what happened
You're
there.
involved in one of the biggest plays of the game.
Okay.
Thank you, Jew.
Appreciate your time. We do.
We won't hold you.
We would have talked to you in the season, but also you were injured.
Just tell us what occurred on the play.
Miscommunication, that's all it was on my part. I take complete fault for that.
Was it a fake?
I don't know. It was complete fault. My fault. That's it.
Is this something the team hasn't practiced?
It's all me. All me. That's something I did wrong, and that's all.
So you
It was
weren't
all
aware?
on me. Yep, number 25 out there. That was me. I was the one that did it.
But were you aware
It
that
was
a
just
fake?
me. Yeah, I messed up.
I understand that, but I'm just asking if you knew it was.
I
We
messed
just
up.
didn't know if it was a communication
Yeah, I
breakdown.
messed up.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Now, this was funny to me because he basically pulled the Marshawn Lynch and that you know why I'm here and because they didn't want to talk to the media. And I understand, guys don't want to talk to the media. Now, I know they have a job to do, and he could have been different about it. But I also come from a perspective of how they went about it, and kind of what she said. Like Ryan Switzer, he said, "What have you done for us to talk to you all year?" He says one of the wildest things I've heard a player say it to a player, and I think her name was Jenna Lane for ESPN. Said Bucks running back Giovani Bernard didn't want to talk to the media about what happened on the botched fake punt. Here's that interaction. He said, "As a reporter, it is our job to see clearly on what happened, especially on the most pivotal play of the game," and we understand that. But the thing that turned me sour is not necessarily this video. It's the way she, like in her comments and the way she went back at people who were criticizing her for how she handled it. And, it came off. I didn't like the way it came off. But you had a different opinion on this one.
But she's over the top a little bit. But I think for the two things here. I think the Bucks could have handled this a little better. I mean, that PR guy, right? I don't know his name off the top of my head right now, but he was with the NBA for years with the Houston Rockets. I think when you have a situation, it's just like the one thing about this league is, man, when you have pivotal plays, crucial plays, that you have to get the reaction. It's just like they interview officials, even if it's a pool reporter, they get one reporter out the group, and they ask that official what happened on the play that you call that determined the game. Same with this situation. They know if he's in the locker room, the media portion of the locker room is open, so they're in there. There's no way in the world this guy or any guy in a play like that mattered is going to walk in that locker room and don't have reporters come up to him and try to get a reaction to what happened on that play. Their media PR, he's the head PR person. He should have prepped them up when he went in there and said, you're going to have to, because by NFL rules, every player in that locker room, if they asked to talk, has to talk. Or if not, they get fined. So prep them up, say, hey, here you go. You get in 3-4 questions. He's got to go to his family or whatever. But they didn't do it that way. and they kind of came up on him, and I guess that kind of surprised them. But hey, man, these guys got to understand, man, they are professional football players. You can't walk in on media when the media is in there. If he didn't want to talk, there's ways that he could not been in there when that media was in there. Media can't go into the training room, in the training room area, in that locker room. So, but you can't walk when you see a crowd of reporters and don't think they're not going to ask you a question or try to stop you or surround you. And the guy right there in the back with the tie, I think he could have handled this better. He could have prepared him a little better. Just give him something, get him 2-3 questions asked, and get it over with. This here it almost become, a little consumptuous a little bit, and he didn't answer the question, but he was already hostile on how he was approached about the situation. And it sounded like, I need to go talk to my family. You guys don't talk to me before any other time until today. So I'm just going to do my regular routine. And you can't do that in this league, man. you got to dance to the fiddler. So
no, you do. And I was critical of players in the past, especially like I was very critical of Kyrie Irving at one point when he didn't talk to the media, and by him not talking to the media, they have to talk to his teammates, they have to talk to his coaches. You have to stand up and take those questions. I was very critical, and rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins when he was in Washington. And he had won the game the previous week before, came back, lost the game, and then after the game, he didn't talk to reporters, and then was seen clubbing without a mask on in the middle of a pandemic, and he didn't answer questions. And you can't do that. This is part of your job. When you sign up for this is it. This is part of the job. You have to go through media. You have to do it, and it is on your media team to prepare you for every scenario.
Another thing, like Jenny Lane, the ESPN reporter there, she's a little, I don't know. I think she turned it into a situation that turned them off a little bit more than what had to be done. You don't have to, you don't have to throw a volume book out there and say, you don't have to give him the rule. You just say, can we ask you a question relating to that play? It was a pivotal play, and we need to get your reaction to it. Something like that. You don't have to go the way that she blurbed out, and all they're going to do is cause more hostility. And just, either they're going to talk or they're not going to talk. And you're going to still put in your story that he declined to talk. You're still going to write about the fumble or whatever he did wrong. Still get in the story. So, but I feel that the PR department of the Bucs should have handled that a little better.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and then the guy who you said who had the jacket on with the tie, he's telling the pros, hey, go ahead, answer the questions, go ahead, do what you're supposed to be doing. I'm like, that's like you say, it's on him. He should have prepared him for that. Especially once they saw what happened in the game, immediately somebody should have been, with him. And if he didn't want to talk, go ahead and get him out of there or whatever. So, I think the Bucs PR.
This is how they should have handled it. They get 15 minutes of cool down time right after the game before the media. We standing outside the door. As soon as that cool off period, that he should have went in there and said, we're going to, they're going to come up to you. They want to know what happened on the play. I can get you out as quick as possible. I can limit it to, I'm going to tell the group, but we're going to limit it to about 3 because he got to get to his family or he got to get to the plane or whatever. Get the 3 questions in. Have him directly with him and say, hey, here's such and such. He's got time to answer 3 questions. And all of them come and answer, and then they go. And that's what he should have done. I've seen that many times.
Right.
The guy fumbled, even with the Jaguars. The one, where he, he's not really in a great mood, but he's got time to answer about 2 or 3 questions. Leave it at that. And even if that would have been handled the greatest way possible, you're not going to get a hell of a lot out of him after play like that. So it is what it is.
No, you're not. No, it is what it is. But man, we're gonna wrap it up right there, and we're gonna move on. Staying in football, we were going to college, and this was interesting to me. Todd McShay speaking on Jalen Carter, one of the top prospects in the draft next year, a kid who earlier in the year when Jaguars were losing, they were mocking Jalen Carter to the Jags, and I wouldn't have minded that pick. I would want another receiver, but Jalen Carter is an absolute beast. But this is what Todd McShay had to say about Jalen Carter that set the Twitter sphere on fire. Oh, I got the.
To figure out that he's a phenomenal. It's interesting with Carter because we all agree it doesn't take a super scout to figure out that he's a phenomenal player in the interior.
Mm-hmm.
With Carter, there's some character issues. Does he get along with everybody? What's he like to deal with in the locker room? Those sorts of issues. I know it's early in the process, but I'm forewarning everyone out there. Carter's going to be kind of a hot button name when we talk about some of the intangible aspects of it. I think, though, with Pete Carroll sitting here at number 2, who has a long history of taking guys that have quote unquote questionable character and then developing them and having it work out, it makes a lot of sense to me. But that will be the big discussion. It's not about his talent. It's not about his size. It's not about his explosive takeoff or finishing as a pass rusher. It's about the character. Do we want to bring that guy into the building? It's interesting with Carter.
Dude, that right there, I have a big problem with that. I have a huge issue with that and him speaking on this kid, because it's one thing for you to say this, but where's the proof? What's the issue? Where are the incidents? Where's the paper trail? Who have you talked to? You ain't got to name your sources, but hey, I talked to an official with Georgia. I talked to a coach. I talked to a booster. I talked to an alumni. I talked to somebody about said issue about him and his ability to get along with teammates and whatnot. But for you to say this on the heels of what's probably one of the biggest moments in this kid's life, I mean, you're literally affecting money going into his pocket by saying these things. You need to have your sources ready. I mean, it's just what it is. But they have no problem doing this to these kids, man, because let's say he had a source from Georgia, a credible source. Sources could be wrong. People could have agendas. This stuff I don't like, and I've never liked stuff like this because he's not there. This would be one thing if he was there. He's not there, and he was never there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. This is one of the problems I got with ESPN, because this is creating the news. This is creating the news, the attention directed. Just basically saying ESPN just created a sensational story without no attributable facts other than Mr. Mache there saying that he's got character issues. There used to be a time, say if Todd requested, and I'm not saying this happened, but I've seen this throw this character stuff out on a player. So just like this situation that you had on that video in the locker room with Tampa Bay. Sometimes a reporter can have an interaction with a player, or he can request a player for an interview, and the kid don't want to do it. And he'll take an impression and label it that he's got character issues. I could say from some of the instances I had with Jalen Ramsey that he had character issues with reporters, not that okay, his whole, because this is what this guy basically saying. He's saying no matter what the situation is, this kid got some character issues that's just as important as the talent he has on the field, and you got to be aware of that. And I just think that's creating news. I think that's creating attention for ESPN. I think you can't put character issues out there if you're not attributing that fact, that source of somebody said, a GM without naming them, that has concerns of what he's heard, before you go out and just say this, he's got character issues with no background, no facts. It's just your presumption because you is the draft guru and you done messing up this kid's future for no reason at all. That's why I got a problem with ESPN, because this is called creating the news when there ain't no news. And even if he had character issue, why not? Why say it now?
Yeah,
If
why
he
now?
played in a national championship game or even in the semifinals, he hadn't been through the round of interviews. He hadn't done anything NFL related. Go to the combine, anything with that, and you already gonna put a label. He might have had a bad day on Thursday. That make him have a character issue. We all have a character issue if something happened. Maybe something happened at home, and he just didn't feel like dealing with something that day. But I don't hear anybody from Georgia said if anybody would know he got a character issue, it'd be Georgia. I ain't hear that from nobody from Georgia confirming or anything that he's got character issues. And this is what's wrong with ESPN. They'll do anything to draw attention to the day that this guy went on there and said it, to draw the ratings or whatever. He might have wrote something on their online edition. And all it does is draw attention to ESPN, and they don't care if it hurt the kid. And that's the problem I got. That's not journalism. That's TMZ. That's what that is. Without a video.
I was muted. He said, I agree, Brandon. Assassinating his character this early is deplorable. Yeah, it is, Ness. It is. Absolutely. Yes, it is. So, but it is what it is. Hopefully that doesn't affect the kid. I was listening to a guy that I watch, and he was talking about how a lot of those prominent guys like a Todd McShay, like a Mel Kiper, you think about guys like Dick Vitale, and who they always talked about and who they always championed and pumped up. And like Dick Vitale, he talked great about Mike Krzyzewski. He'll talk great about Bobby Knight and all of those guys. Well, people who watch the nationally televised games, they hear him talk about these coaches. So hey, where are the kids going to go? That's the kind of power that they hold. Same with Todd McShay and Mel Kiper, the kind of power that they have because of their voice, and people watching who may not really be casual fans, don't really know the sport, and think they're what they say is end all be all. That's what's the problem. But because of social media, because players getting their own platforms, that is slowly going away, and you're going to be able to go straight. There's the middleman is essentially getting cut out in a lot of spaces. It's always going to be there a little bit, but now people can go directly to whoever that player is, whoever that entertainer is, whoever that person is, to get their information from them now.
Well, as a journalist, I don't like that at all, but I do not like when sensational stuff come in on the picture. Kid can't defend himself. Coaches haven't said anything. And then the build-up will continue. So this label will be on this kid. They'll be talking about this in the semifinal game. They'll be talking about this when the draft stuff come out. And then it just get bigger and bigger. And then it all come back. Who broke it? ESPN broke this story that he's got character issues. So I think reporters got a responsibility to be factual, get their facts. Yes. Don't be trying to get clicks and sound bites and attention. And if you got a source saying it, it's even if he's got character issues, it ain't like that can't be worked out. But it also, it's one person's opinion. But if you're going to report that, then what level is it? A college coach who told you that? Is it his position coach? Is it somebody who knows them close? Who is it? At least give the public of that I got this confirmation from an NFL general manager who's probably heard it from a third source, anyway. So you're not getting factual information, you're getting third source information. But this guy found it a reason to say that, which is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. See, and that's saying what pisses me off. A lot of these NFL coaches listen to these guys, label them before they even do anything about them. Yeah, that is a problem. Yeah, so we're gonna leave it right there. Get into our last one. Going to basketball with Mr. Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving's agent and managers have met with designer and owner of Black-owned shoe company. I don't know if it's SIA or SIA. There's SIA Collective, discussing a potential partnership after Irving's departure from the Nike shoe deal. And this was interesting to me because this is something that we've talked about previously. I said that, I don't want to hear about the lack of black coaches in NCAA, in the NFL, the NBA. I don't want to hear the lack of anything for black people. I don't want to hear about a lack of representation in any form of fashion. Let's take it outside of sports. Let's take it to the business world. Let's take it to the everyday world. I don't really want to hear about those things about you not being included and you sitting and complaining, because ownership. If you want it, you have to build it yourself. Stop asking for inclusion into other people's things. That's just what it is. Now you can say, well, we helped build this and we did. Cool. You don't own it. Yeah, you helped build it. You put some bricks up. I saw you. They got the brick and mortar. You landed it. You installed some wires here. You did some plumbing here, carpentry. You put the drywall up. Yeah, but who owns it? The person who owns it dictates what it does and what goes on with it. So if you want that power, you have to build it on your own. And it starts exactly with things just like this.
Oh, yeah. Man, I ain't got nothing to add to that. But, I mean, but you're right in a way that you have to take ownership. You have to make things better than what they are previously. And I say this for all these professional athletes. I know that a lot of them wear the Air Jordan brand and that kind of thing. But there can be a lot more companies, shoe companies or what, invest your earnings into something that creates businesses for the black community and create jobs. Do something different. Michael Jordan did that Air Jordan stuff, in 1985 or whatever it was. So there's plenty of opportunity for other players to maybe establish their own shoe company that caters to Black Americans or businesses or real estate company that helps, low income families get homes, different things like that. I always think that the NFL and NBA players, I think you have a phase in your life where you want to earn if you've been poor your whole life and you want to earn your riches, you want to get that car, you want to get the big house, you want to get the jewelry, and you go through that phase. I say like the first 5 years, if you in there, you're fortunate to be in the league for 5 years. And then you start the second phase when you get mature, you understand what your impact is on society. You understand that you rich for the rest of your life. But I think these guys got to understand that in order to make an impact on society, it might be a better way of doing things is investing in your own businesses, investing in communities that need help, and investing in your own, like the youth. The youth is right now, I feel the youth is in trouble. They don't see enough positive from anybody to change the way their lifestyle is. And maybe you can do that with you have a shoe company. If you start investing in a shoe company, then it gets you into the community more. And it gets you in the community more. People can see, touch, see you. And I think these guys, the Kyrie Irvings, these NFL players, I think they got to do more investment into the community, because I think the young folks only see them on television, and they don't, they don't take them. It's like they might as well be a Hollywood movie star. They can't see and touch it. But I think if you have companies, and those companies are in the community, like a shoe company, where he can come to a park and have an event, hey, kids see it, invest in the community, and more of them need to do it. I think We need a lot more athletes. We need a lot more politicians. We need a lot more entrepreneurs. We got to save our community because we're in trouble.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to save our community, man. And it's only nobody's coming to save you. You have to do it on your own. Absolutely. So, but man, we're gonna leave it right there. You see, what Ness say? Ness say Zion is back, baby. Yeah, Zion is back, baby. Man, that kid looks. Hey, long as I hope he stays healthy. I really do. I hope he stays healthy. Unlike Anthony Davis. Oh my God, Anthony Davis out for the next month with a paper cut. God,
man, I saw a video where a guy put on one of the robots, and the robot just couldn't walk in a straight line. All his pieces start falling off of him, and they say that's Anthony Davis. And one more thing about the Phoenix Suns and their owner and all that's going on and owner. Here's a guy got voted out the league, and he's going to sell the team for $4 billion, Mr. Sarver. Now they got even more reports coming out that even the people that the vice presidents and the people underneath him in the organization was just as bad as he was with that bad culture. So they got to expand all that, and that organization, even though they winning on the basketball court, they got a lot of internal issues still going on, whether this guy sell the team, which he is, but they got to get that. They got to stamp that culture out in Phoenix, man.
Yeah, it's the same issue NFL is having in Washington right now. It's amazing, but hey, this is more common than people think, man. It is, because a lot of things have been kept swept under the rug. A lot of people haven't voiced, and said stuff because they're afraid of losing their job or losing their positions. So people have kept quiet, and then the people who were going to say something, hey, they've been greasing palms. They've been saying, hey, they've been paying this person off, paying this person hush money. Hey, sign this NDA here. You say anything and we're going to sue you. So people haven't been able to speak up. But now we're in a different time now, man. I always tell people, hey, we're in a different time. As soon as you walk out your house, assume you being recorded. Straight up.
Yeah.
I
say the most important word tonight.
Ken Davis.
Aluminum
It's silly.
Diversity.
Diversity. Yeah, absolutely. So, but man, we're going to leave it right there. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social medias. And follow Mr. Reed on Twitter. Man, I can't wait for this Thursday night game. Jags against the Jets. Hopefully the Jags can pull it out. And we'll be back with another live stream. And man, this was a good one, man. Hey, we had 128. We did good. We had 128, so we did good.
So good Jaguar victory Thursday night, and everybody have a happy Merry Christmas on Sunday.
Yes. Yeah. And happy holidays, my people. Happy holidays. But until next time, we'll talk to y'all later, man. Peace out.